Garland, and Calvin.
Yeah.
All Things Black presents Fanboys.
Woosa.
We are back. I'm anxious. My guy Garland over there is helping me not be anxious, but we're back with our podcast. I'm Calvin. That's Garland.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Listen, we're here to broadcast our podcast. What you got, Garland?
Baltimore, follow me. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Raven, come on, Ravens flock. Breathe out.
Hey, man, I don't know about the rest of y'all,
brothers
but
is
I
tight.
need that. I need that. Listen, we're broadcasting live on YouTube. If you don't catch us on YouTube, you'll be able to listen to us on the podcast. And if you have Spotify, you'll be able to see us in the podcast, but you will get the podcast before tomorrow's games. Also, I think I got it on Facebook right now. I think if you are looking at us in the All Things Black group, you'll be able to see it. So I think I got it, Garland. I think I got it. So I think we're live on YouTube and Facebook right now. But again, if you don't see any of that, you can definitely listen to us on all the podcast
This what y'all
platforms.
need. This what y'all need to carry y'all into tomorrow. Either this time tomorrow night, we're gonna be real happy, or we're gonna be like, I'm going to bed early.
Hey, man, I posted on Facebook earlier how anxious I am, like my anxiety. I thought last week was kicking because we just needed to win, but the stakes are bigger. Like I want this so bad for the city and for us, but I want it even better for Lamar. Like I just need him to advance to just, shut the haters up and let's get this Super Bowl. But anyway, you know what? What else we got today, Garland?
Bro, we're going to talk about, it's all NFL today. So we're going to talk about some hires that took place over the week. We're going to review last week's games. And then we're going to go into the championship Sunday. We're going to, go through, make a little analysis, make our picks. We already didn't pick the Ravens. So, we're just going to talk about that. And then we're going to end with some come on, yo. And so, yeah, y'all, it's all good. It's all good. It's so, Calvin, it got so serious. My church sent out an announcement, said, tomorrow, wear your Ravens gear. It's all purple tomorrow. It's all they just sent out. They saw CJ Stroud mother praying last week in that game. I went to church Sunday. The prayer warriors was like, we had to get on our knees. And so the pastor sent out an announcement. Everybody wear your Ravens gear tomorrow. It's that serious, y'all. The church then said, no, everybody in your gear tomorrow. Ain't never happened. They ain't never happened. So people, it's that energy. So, hey, the Saints is praying. So, hopefully y'all ready. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Calvin, Black coaches matter. The NFL has started Black History Month early with the hiring of 3 head Black coaches in this hiring cycle, man. There are currently 6 head coaches in the league right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
man. It's some stuff going on. And so the Falcons,
revolution,
the revolution. Black Lives Matter 10 years later. So the Falcons, they hired Raheem Morris as their new head coach, making him the first former NFL head coach. Owner Arthur Blank has hired in his 20-plus year tenure as owner of the Falcons, and also the first full-time Black head coach in the franchise's history. That's big in Atlanta. Now, this will be Morris, who was Atlanta's interim coach for 11 games in 2020 after they fired Dan Quinn midway through the season. This is his second stint as a head coach, having previously led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2009 to 2011, going 17-31 over the 3 seasons. Also, there was another big hire. The Chargers, they hired Jim Harbaugh, which is probably the biggest hire of this cycle. After 9 seasons at the collegiate level and the national championship this season at his alma mater, Michigan, Harbaugh returns to the NFL, where he went 44-19-1 in 4 seasons with the 49ers from 2011 through 2014. Also, there was a couple other hires. The Carolina Panthers, they've hired the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, as head coach prior to his 1 year as offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Canales was the quarterback coach for the Seattle Seahawks. And the Panthers hope that he can do for Bryce Young what he did for Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, and Baker Mayfield. And the Tennessee Titans, they finalized their football structure by promoting Rand Carthon to executive vice president, general manager, and they hired Brian Callahan as his head coach. Callahan comes to the Titans after spending the past 5 seasons as the Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator. So, Calvin, it appears that the greatest head coach of this generation, Bill Belichick, will not get a job. Are you surprised by that?
No, absolutely not. So I think we talked about this briefly, and everyone's talked about it. Everyone has the same take on it. He's going to want to control a whole lot of your team, and a lot of owners don't want that. A lot of GMs don't want that. And he's old. Like, what are you going to
he's 70 plus.
Yeah, you're going to get him for 2 or 3 years when you got all these other young minds out here that you want to give a chance to. Now, it's not that Belichick isn't a legend, but if you got some other young, hot guys that you can try to get to, then you give it to him. All I care about is that Mike McDonald and Todd Monken haven't been named. Like, they holding out some of these jobs, but the jobs we thought that they might get, they haven't gotten. They've already hired. Now, who's still out there? Washington's still out there.
Washington and Seattle.
And
as
Seattle.
A matter of fact, that was going to be my next question about Washington and Seattle. Now, I will say this. I was reading an article on The Ringer earlier this week. They were talking about McDonald. The new general manager for the Commanders, him and McDonald were coaching interns for the Ravens. So they were close, shared the office, good friends. And so that job being open, although people saying that the offensive coordinator for the Lions, Brian Johnson, is probably a lock to at least get the DC job. And most people think is either going to be Vrabel or Dan Quinn for the Seahawks job.
And they still got Slowick. Ain't Slowick still out there?
Slowick's out there, but nobody's really talking about Slowick in DC. And so it looks like McDonald is still a possibility in DC because as a matter of fact, when that DC job opened, his name was one of the first names that they mentioned. And so there's a slim possibility that he could still be up for a job. But I think Monken's off the table because all the teams that Monken interviewed for, they have hired coaches. And so we know that Monken is not leaving, but there's a slim chance that McDonald may. I think now. I think DC might wait. If the Ravens run this table of this game in the Super Bowl, I think DC is going to go ahead and make him an offer.
But do you think that, everyone has a price when it comes to coaching. Everyone has a price. But do you think that he wants to go to an organization like DC that's literally going to have to rebuild from the ground up? Or do you think that maybe our owner, Biscotti, that's the cook, but whatever.
Biscotti.
If you think Biscotti actually may have said to him, listen, Harbaugh might be looking to, I wouldn't be surprised if John, especially if they make this Super Bowl run, I wouldn't be surprised if John looks at it and be like, you know what? I might give it one more year just to play my brother next year once again, and then step away, do some office work for the Ravens and hand this over to Mike McDonald.
Out. You know what? I think.
We all been ready to get Harbaugh. Don't act like this. Don't act like this ain't a revelation. He lucky we saying retire because we were talking fire.
Harbaugh has a job as long as he wants that job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
with the Ravens, absolutely.
Yeah, as long as he wants
that job.
There's
nothing we can say or do.
Nothing you can say or do. It's his job. Whenever he wants to leave, that's when he'll leave.
Absolutely.
But I think that, you saying, remember Jerry Jones did this several years ago with he's on TV now.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah, with Jason Garrett. Remember the Ravens wanted him, and he was the OC at Dallas then, and he came in for the interview, and they wound up giving it to Harbaugh, but
no, he didn't make the interview. If you remember,
that's
Jerry
right.
Jones told him, "You get on that plane,
right?
we not. Yeah, they
I'm gonna
wouldn't
give you
let him
this
get on the
extra
plane.
money and stuff,
Yeah.
and he wound up staying. And so it's a possibility. I mean, I don't know if the Ravens would do that, but I think
I mean, why
going to a
not?
team like DC as a young coach, you have an owner who's shown that he's not afraid to spend money. The new owner of the Skins, he's also owner of the 76ers. He's laid out the money there. They're all about spending that money, so I don't think they would have a problem. And the way that the league is, if you draft right, you get some, you overpay for some good free agents, your fortunes can turn. I mean, let's look what happened with the Texans this year. Texans only won 3 games last year. Nobody was expecting them to make the playoffs, and in the season, they didn't really go out and spend any money. They just drafted. They hired the coach, and he came in there and turned it around. And
yeah,
so,
but are you going to be able to draft the next CJ Stroud in DC?
They're drafting high. You never know. They can swing a trade, maybe get up. If they get up in the top 5 and they go for Caleb Williams or one of those other quarterbacks, you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I only say that because the Ravens feel like they're on the precipice of some great years up and coming. You signed Lamar for the 5 years, so you got that locked in,
and you got Roquan for
2 more years with Roquan. Yeah, did it 5? I thought he signed a 3.
Maybe it was a 3. Maybe it was a 3.
So so they feel like they're on the precipice of something great. So why not, if they offered that to him, why not stay there and take over that head coaching position, which would be much more attractive than going to DC and trying to rebuild from the ground up. I mean, remember, they traded away their 2 best assets. Other than Scary Terry, they don't really have much going on down in DC.
Actually, Roquan is a 5-year deal.
It is
5-year, $100 million with 45 guaranteed. And so, so you do have your foundation pieces are there on both sides of the ball. I understand that, but I think every one of these guys want a shot at running their own teams. And like we said, I mean, if this team wins the Super Bowl, Harbaugh is probably going to be here at least another 3 or 4 years.
You think that long?
Yes.
John,
come on. He's got Lamar. He's got Roquan. He's got some young pieces there. So why quit?
John going to say, run
it back.
Why should I leave?
Right. Why am I leaving? What'd I do? Come on, bro. If they win the Super Bowl this year, get ready for at least another 3 to 4 years of John Harbaugh. And so, can you have McDonald? Is he going to wait around that long? I mean, sometimes you got to strike.
He shouldn't wait around that long. Right. Now, I will say that I'm a big advocate for getting all you can when you can. Strike when the iron's hot. So he should not wait around. If Harbaugh signs for another 2 or 3 years, he should not wait around for that. He absolutely deserves his opportunity to go somewhere else.
I mean, DC could be a quality job. DC could be a quality job. You got new ownership.
Of course, I'm being selfish. I'm being selfish, but wait, Garland. Now, you and I, we battle head to head on some of these things, and I've been killing you on these coaching highs. I told you Antonio Pierce. You told
me. You did.
I told you.
I didn't say he wasn't going to get it, but I was saying that this cycle is going to be tough.
I told you Jim Harbaugh. I told you Harbaugh to San Diego, and I think you said somewhere else, Chicago.
To Chicago. I didn't say
was Chicago
because they hired the coach in Chicago.
You said Seattle.
I didn't say Seattle.
Where'd you say?
I said the Chargers. I thought
I said the Chargers.
We both did because I said that there's no general manager there. He needed to go to a place where he could also have influence on the GM. So,
but I also called out
that job knowing that he's going to get some GM duties too.
I also called out Raheem Morris. I said they need to cycle Raheem Morris back up in there. That's what you were
saying about Raheem Morris.
And then look, I'm trying. I might have to stick with my McDonald take, man. You know what? I'm not listening.
All right, bro. All right. Hey, I'm letting you know. The Ravens win this Super Bowl. John Harbaugh ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. He's got Lamar for 5 years. He's got Roquan for 5 years.
He gonna step up in that front office and get that Ozzie Newsome treatment.
Right.
You know how Ozzie worked for the team, but he don't really work for the team. He kind of retired.
He ain't going nowhere. And you got Zay. You got Mark Andrews on a contract. Oh, come on, man. They got
Isaiah Likely is they got.
Come on, they ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere. That's what I'm saying. They're on the precipice of something big, man.
He
they feel like they're on the precipice.
They do.
Big.
And so, I think he's more apt to be there, especially if they win the Super Bowl. But, we'll see. We'll see. But I really think if the Ravens are able to make a strong statement in these next, if they win tomorrow and they make it to the Super Bowl and they win, and these are strong defensive showings, McDonald's getting that DC job. They're gonna hold that. I don't care what hotshot offensive coordinator is available. DC's gonna wait until after the Super Bowl, and we're gonna hear the next day during the parade that the new head coach is Mike McDonald. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
Don't we play the NFC East next year anyway?
Yep.
Yeah, because Washington comes to
Washington
comes to Baltimore next year.
That's right. So and my thoughts about Belichick too. It was kind of telling. I was listening to Peter King. I think he was on Stu Gott's show on Dan Le Batard, and he was talking about how he had talked to somebody inside of the Falcons, and they were basically saying he's met several times. He's met with Arthur Blank. And after all those meetings, there was still a feeling that maybe this is just not the coach that we want. And I think it was, again, he's going to bring people with him. And I think it was less age as opposed to he wants some GM responsibility. He wants some say. He wants that control. He's going to bring some people with him, and they have a GM there. And so, why would you hire your replacement? You don't want to be replaced. And so I think that probably worked against him in the end. And we'll see if he even throws his name in the next cycle. But, I think it's less age as opposed to how much power are you willing to concede? I think the Panthers' job, they were just looking for anybody because, the owner, he's on his fifth coach in 3 seasons or 4 seasons. And so, it wasn't a lot of takers on that, but we'll see what happens on the next cycle. But I think it's good for the Ravens that Monken will be here.
I
don't think Monken's going to
same offense.
I don't think Monken's going to make a lateral move to go be an OC somewhere else. And so I think the cycle's over pretty much for him, for the teams he's interviewed for. We can count on that for next season. And we'll see what happens with McDonald. But good hires, good solid hires. Harbaugh in the AFC West, it's going to be thick out there. You got Sean Payton, you got Harbaugh, you got Andy Reid, who ain't going nowhere, and you got Pierce out there. That's going to be pretty tough. And I'm kind of a little disappointed because we won't see any Harbaugh Super Bowls, Harbaugh against Harbaugh, but we might see them in the AFC Championship.
He had his chance. He had his chance.
He had his chance. So now he's gonna have to follow Big Brother over here in the AFC. Exactly. So we see what happens.
The biggest thing is he going to be able to turn around Justin Herbert? Like, is he going to be able to redirect his career to a winning quarterback?
Bro, he took that team. I think in the first year with the Niners, he took them to like a wild card or something, or they changed.
Alex Smith. That was
with Alex Smith. That was Alex Smith. He drafted Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
He installed that offense with Kaepernick. He's a great coach, man. And
he's the reason Andrew Luck was what he was in college and in the NFL. So,
So I'm anticipating that probably next year. I think the run of the Chiefs that's automatically getting the AFC West, that's pretty much done. That's pretty much done. I think so. I think Harbaugh they have a good piece. You have a franchise quarterback. He hasn't won in the past, but I think Harbaugh, that influence, that coaching, I think, the Chiefs, they tried to win without receivers this year. They tried to do, they were like, Mahomes enough. Mahomes and Travis Kelce is enough. Luckily, their defense was better this season, but, I don't know if they're going to spend that money to upgrade at receiver.
Let me throw
I think
something
it's
out
open.
there. Let me throw
All right,
something out there
throw it
that I've
out
been
there.
thinking about all season. Well,
Mhm.
not all season. I'll say the last quarter of the season. Um, Rashad Bateman is going to be a Chief next year.
What?
Yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah, man. Just watch. Just
Get out of here. Is he in the
put
last
that
year of his contract?
put that in your pocket.
All right, all right. You
Put
know
that in your
what?
pocket.
I'm
Rashad
not gonna
Rashad
totally.
Rashad Bateman will be catching passes from Patrick Mahomes next year.
Why you say that?
I don't think that he is completely comfortable and happy in this Baltimore offense. And it's not that he can't be. I just don't see he should have been the man this year. And we don't really have, if you think about the Baltimore receiving core, they are definitely efficient. They hold on to the ball, they do what they need to do, but we do not have that number one breakout receiver. Zay is fast, he has flashes, but he's not the number one. Odell catches clutch balls. He's not the number one. Nelson Aguilar is the number four and probably one of the most reliable, dependable guys on the team, and he doesn't have a history of that. I think Rashad, I think new scenery for Rashad would do him well.
Wow.
And who better to catch passes from? I think the Chiefs would look at somebody like Rashad Bateman and say, this guy has the potential to be the number one receiver on our team. A team like the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes,
That's gonna have to be a trade. He's on a 4-year deal. I think
yeah,
he's in the third year, the fourth year, and
yeah,
so
just
okay. You
watch
heard it
out
here
for it.
first. You heard it here
Just
first.
watch, put it in your
You
back
heard it here
pocket.
first. I mean, well, Odell might not be back here next year. I mean, you think the Ravens are going to be willing to depart
So
with your
I
your
think
number one?
no, I think and now I think Odell is strictly cap money. I think if Odell does leave, there's
Mhm.
something in his contract that shoots the cap up. I think the Ravens have to bite this for one more year, have to eat this
Mhm.
salary for one more year. I
Okay.
think that's how it works. It's something I read earlier
Hmm.
months ago that his cap hit is so large that they might as well just go ahead and, unless he just tanked this year, which he didn't. I mean, he
No.
wasn't a superstar, but he didn't tank this year.
Yeah, I give Beckham's influence was more on the sideline and in the
Mhm.
locker room with these young receivers. I think. I mean, you can't pay for that. I mean, it reminds me of Calais Campbell. I wish Calais Campbell would have came back for another
I
year
do too. I
because
do
I
too.
think Calais Campbell's influence on Matt B.I.G, on the other defensive linemen was huge. He was a leader on this team, and you can't. And I think that's what Odell does for the offense. Definitely. So we'll see. We'll see. But good luck to all those coaches, and we'll see what happens with them in the coming season. Let's talk a little bit about the divisional round and go through these picks. Jordan Love, he threw a costly interception that helped the Niners to hold on to defeat the Packers 24-21. Running back Christian McCaffrey, he scored the go-ahead touchdown with a little over a minute left, allowing the Niners to overcome a 21-14 deficit. Also, you had the kicker on the Packers. He missed a field goal, which probably if the Niners scored when they
He
scored on
missed
that
two
drive.
field goals
Yeah, he
that
missed two.
game.
Yeah, and so definitely comes back to bite them. We both picked the Niners in that game. Just any thoughts from that game that you saw?
Remember, I told you, I really thought the Packers could win that game, and they
You did.
should have won that
You did.
game. The only thoughts is the Niners don't look like the powerhouse that they did beginning of the season. And a lot of people talk about since they played the Ravens, the team didn't look as good. I don't quite agree with that because even after they played the Ravens, they destroyed the Redskins, and then I think that final week they didn't have to play anybody.
Yeah.
I
The
mean, not
Commanders.
the
It's the
Commanders.
Commanders.
They destroyed the Commanders, but it's something about, and it could have been that what we were worried about, that 1 week layoff, that bye week. It could have been that they came out a little rusty. That injury to Debo is huge. He's not on the injury report, so he's going to play.
Right.
But we'll see how he comes out and plays tomorrow. But yeah, because Detroit can definitely match them in offense. Detroit just has a defensive problem.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the Niners defense, I'm not as brought into them as I was a little earlier in the season. You can move the ball on them. You can score on them. The Packers, they had a great plan. They spread the field. They took advantage of the DBs, which I think is the weak spot for the Niners. I think they have an excellent line. They have excellent linebackers, but after that, they're not that great on the back end, and they were able to take advantage of that. I mean, they really were in position to win, but experience won out at the end. I mean, Jordan Love, that was kind of like reminiscent of Brett Favre, throwing across the field late.
Yeah.
You throw it right back in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Threw it right into Greenlaw's hands. Bad interception. You would have liked to see him throw it out of bounds and maybe live for the final play of the game, possibly. But, they were there. They had a chance, but they wasn't able to capitalize. And it's a good win for the Niners. And it doesn't make a difference if you win by 10 or if you win by 1. You won.
Win is a win.
Our win is a win.
Especially in the playoffs.
What up, though, Lions? The Lions, they kept their storybook season going and advanced to their first NFC Championship game since 1991 with a 31-23 divisional round victory over the Bucs. Jared Goff, he went 30 for 43 for 287 yards and threw for 2 touchdowns in a playoff game for the first time in his career. We both picked the Lions in that game. Lions, they just, I think Jahmyr Gibbs, they finally realized, like, we need to keep him on the field. I know they were trying to feed Montgomery, and they were feeding Montgomery early in the season. And he's been killing, but Jahmyr Gibbs is the back on that team, and they finally realized, like, just leave him on the field and let him do his thing. I mean, the Bucs, they were in there, they played well, but just defensively, they were not able to make those stops at the right time. A lot of people got on Todd Bowles because he didn't call a timeout in those last couple minutes that, maybe forcing the Lions to kick a field goal. You get the ball back, but still in the same time, sometimes the game is over when the game is over. And unless they were going to score like a 10-point touchdown, the game was pretty much over. And any thoughts on that game?
Like I told you, I wanted the Bucs to win, but you just never know what Baker showed up. And Baker played efficiently throughout the game, but he threw that interception in that
that was a bad interception. That was a bad interception. But he played well. Mike Evans had a big game. Mm-hmm. They did well. They were running the ball very effectively as well. And so Dan Campbell, bite off their knees, do everything. He said he's going to bite people's butts. That's what the line. That's what he said when his press conference when he got the job. That they're going to do anything to win, and they pulled it out. And big time for Detroit. A lot of people are voting for or pulling for a Baltimore Detroit Super Bowl. There'd be a lot of Gators.
The black ass Super Bowl in Vegas.
The black AF Super Bowl with a lot of Gators and New Balances on at that game.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. A lot of dummies and what up dudes for that weekend.
Lots.
Let's go over to the AFC in the 7th meeting between the Bills and the Chiefs. This decade, the Chiefs, they prevailed Sunday, winning 27-24 in a thriller. The Chiefs playing their first road playoff game of the Patrick Mahomes era. Sealed it with after Buffalo's kicker, Tyler Bass, missed a 44-yard field goal attempt. Wide right.
Wide right.
They would have tied the score with under 2 minutes to play. And we split on that one. You actually called it. You called the game for the Chiefs. I picked the Bills. You were correct in that selection. What are your thoughts of that game?
Patrick Mahomes, man, like just
Jordan of the NFL. Yeah,
just what makes me nervous about tomorrow is just Patrick Mahomes. Let me.
The Bills gave it away, though.
I was about to say, and they absolutely did. Let me say this because they give Josh Allen a lot of credit that we feel like he shouldn't always have. Josh Allen played his ass off,
balled out.
He literally put them on his back and ran the field and carried their asses. He did have that fumble that he got saved because Kincaid, one of the tight ends, hit it out, which would have been detrimental. He would have lost that game with that fumble. But I got to give Josh Allen credit on this one because, those comparisons, we're always like, y'all slight Lamar for Josh Allen. There's no – Josh Allen balled his ass off. Like, I can't take anything from him. But something about that Patrick Mahomes against them Bills, man. And no matter where it is, clearly Kansas City, Buffalo, doesn't seem to matter. Poor Bills fans, man. They done seen wide right so many times. They was just like, not again.
Yeah, somebody said they had them out there shoveling for 2 straight weeks to lose that game. They had to shovel out for the Steelers game. They got the fans to come and shovel out after one blizzard. Then they had to come back after another big snow event, shovel out the stadium again to see their team lose that game. Yeah, Tyler Bass, I was just like,
oh my
wow.
God.
But you know what? What do you think about Stephon Diggs? You know, Stephon, he's been, doing a lot of talking, getting him the ball. There was a play, I think maybe it might have been a play or two before. Like there was a throw to him that hit him in the hands. That was a bomb that he dropped. I think there was before the field goal, there was a crossing pattern. He was open, but Allen went to the end zone instead. He missed the receiver there. And then they came out and missed the field goal and all. But, is Stephon Diggs there next season?
So they pay him a lot of money. And in the most inopportune time, he dropped the ball. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be there next year. They got that boy Shakir out there. They had another guy that, and I don't remember his name, that caught the touchdown, the last final touchdown. No, not Davis. They got Davis, but there's another young boy. The ball that Allen threw in the corner.
Yeah.
So I
think that was the one he was trying to go to in the end zone.
Yep. I don't know if they can afford Stephon Diggs to be there and take up the room when you got these young potential wide receivers. And the draft is wide receiver heavy this year. So I don't know. Stephon might be looking for a new team. And I think he wants to change the scenery. If you remember, the same thing happened in Minnesota. He started looking like, yeah, you all aren't giving me the ball. You're giving Thielen a lot more attention than giving me the ball. So it might be time for him to move on. But I'll tell you, it ain't even Stephon that wasn't worth the money. You talk about a heist, Von Miller.
Ooh, what did Von Miller a lot of money?
Von Miller made like $14 million or something like that, and had 5 tackles this year in 14 games. He had 5 tackles. What? Now we know Von Miller can play, or used to be able to play. Von Miller has 2 rings, one with Denver, one with the Rams. Von Miller has earned his right to be one of the best linebackers in the game. But this season, sir, you stole them people's money.
Yeah, he signed a 6-year contract with the Bills worth $120 million. He got a signing bonus of 18.5, and his base salary this season was 10.7.
He's stolen people's money this year.
Yeah,
5 tackles, sir.
Me
and Garland don't even play, and we would have gotten 5 tackles. I just jump on the pile and get a half a tackle right there.
He was too busy beating up women, allegedly. But he had the Floyd Mayweathers. So he's too busy trying to push women around and stuff. But that was a lot of wasted money too. So they might be looking at some contract cuts up there. Sean McDermott looks like he's going to keep his job. And he should. I mean, he turned that team around. It was at some point in the season we were like, they ain't going to make the playoffs, but they pulled it together. They found their running game, and they did well. They did well all the way up to the end. And that's just what it is. And so tough sledding. Now let's talk about our Ravens. Now, our Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he answered some questions about his playoff chops on Saturday with a 34-10 win over the Texans, but he had plenty of help. The dominant defense, they showed no rust after a bye week, shutting down C.J. Stroud. Jackson, he had a Jackson 4 this time. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. He rushed for 100 yards. He has the most rushing yards in the playoffs by a quarterback. And this is their first division round win since the 2012 Super Bowl campaign. And so we both picked the Ravens, of course, in that game. Now, that first half, I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. My feet was a little damp I was like, why are my feet sweating? Why I'm feeling a little damp under the arms? I'm like, I'm sitting here real quiet on this game, and the defense was doing its job, but the offense was struggling, and it brought back memories of 2019, 2020. They start blitzing. We didn't have an answer for the blitz. We were trying to hit these long plays, but this is what better coaching, better coordinators, better players. They made the adjustments, came out, they start throwing shorter passes instead of trying to hit a little longer home runs. They were patient, they drove the ball, and they just basically ran them out the stadium that second half. You were there. So how was it for you? What did you see, the energy and all that stuff? Talk about that.
Right. First of all, shout out to the fans at M&T. Just like any other night game and any other game, the fans just made it loud. I believe there were like 7 false starts, 6 or 7 false starts.
Yeah.
But man, let me tell you, so Ravens are up 10-3, and then they run this punt return back, and it's tied 10-10. And then the Ravens, I don't know what they were doing in that last series down
right when he got sacked 3 straight times.
Oh my gosh, bro!
I was like, take a knee and get out of here, please.
We in there yelling, Lamar, just throw the ball somewhere. And then we're mad because the Texans start calling timeouts because you're like, so now you're gonna give him the ball back. Like, do something.
Yeah, and we forget that the kicker missed that field goal where they could have went up 13-10 going into half.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there. It's cold out there, so the wife leaves to go inside at halftime. At halftime, I'm literally the only one sitting in our little section, and I'm just bending over, looking at. I believe the band was called Jimmy Eats World or something crazy.
Right.
I'm just looking over, but all I'm thinking in my head is they cannot lose this game. They cannot. Bruh, I was so hurt. I was just like, they're gonna lose. I just had in my mind they were gonna lose. I was just preparing myself to eat the trash talk that I've been giving everybody. But then you're right. So if you all don't know, we've talked about it before, but we got the little crew chat, the little group chat, me, Garland, and 2 of our other homeboys. Well, if you remember, when halftime hit, Jay hit us on a group chat and was like, this is where coaching has to come in.
Right.
He called it out. He was like, they got to get in there. But it wasn't just coaching. Apparently, Lamar got major league on him and looked at his bat and was like, I've been with you all this time, Jabu. You don't help me? I say, fuck you, and I do it myself. Lamar went out there and just took off, son.
Yeah.
Took off, son.
I mean... And we got to give Devin Duvernay credit to that kickoff return to start off the second half. Was major. He got it out there to almost the 50. That was the best field position I think they had starting a drive the whole game, because they were usually pinned inside the 25 for most of their drives. And getting out there, he scores. Lamar scores on that quarterback draw, and it was over after that. It was like, okay,
man,
we good. But I had the trolls. I have a friend who is from Pittsburgh. He's a Steeler fan. And so at halftime, all of a sudden, a little text pops up with a little meme, little GIF in my I'm like, are you okay over there? Like, is everything all right? I'm like, okay. I'm like, look, your team is at home. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just checking on you. I'm just checking. I'm like, okay, check back with me in the fourth quarter, because we're going to see how you feeling then. And of course, once they went up 24-10, no, 31-10. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, what's going on, guy? Remember you texted me a little earlier? You still good? And so people, it was a little like for a minute, like, okay, But and I had a chat line too, and they're like, Lamar needs to make adjustments. I was like, no, Lamar doesn't make the adjustments. The coaches make the adjustments. They got to make the adjustment. The coaches went in, and Todd Monken made the adjustment. They start doing quick hitters. They start throwing where the blitz was coming from, and they were just very successful. And then they start running it down their throat after they got that lead, and it was all over. And so I think it was a great win. It's great momentum, no injuries. You come out that game with no major injuries, and you really, show that you are, the number one team in that game.
Yeah, it's just a dominant performance. You watching guys like Ronnie Stanley, you can see he's fully healthy. He's running out on those. He's pulling on those blocks. I mean, it's just the defense. So remember, we talked about earlier in the season. I mentioned that was like the one thing that the Ravens have that a lot of other teams don't have are two superstar leaders on each side of the ball, right. Roquan and Lamar. Apparently, they walked by each other at the podium at the press conference, and Lamar said, "If they don't score, they don't win." As if to say to Roquan, "It don't matter what I did. Right. You made sure that they did not get us. They didn't even get in the red zone. Right. The defense balled the fuck out.
Couldn't run the ball. This is probably one of the best performances in stopping the run that they had all season.
Yes,
because that's kind of, to me, that's the MO for the Ravens. They've been kind of a little soft against the run because they've been having light boxes. You know, we know football, so we're saying light box. You know, they hadn't had, you know, a big lineman out there because they're playing against the pass. It's a passing league, but they came out and Pierce, Broderick Washington, Matabike. Although they didn't have any sacks, Van Noy,
but that's big
and Clowney, they were moved. They said they had the most pressures in that game than they had all season,
and that's a big deal. They didn't get any turnovers and any sacks, and still dominated this game. Yeah. Like, who does that? Like, you get at least a couple sacks. You get at least one or two turnovers. They got neither one, and it was still a smothering, dominant performance.
And that was big because the week before, the Texans put on a show. They blew, quote unquote, the number one defense in the league out. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, I like my defenses defensy, and Cleveland wasn't defensive.
Cleveland wasn't defensive. And so that brings us to Championship Sunday. And so we're going to start in the NFC, of course. The Lions, they go to Santa Clara to play the 49ers. And the 49ers, they haven't won a Super Bowl since 94. They're making their seventh appearance in the NFC Championship game since 2011. They've gone 2-4 in those games, 3 of which have come under the current head coach, Kyle Shanahan, since 2019. The Lions, they're also trying to rewrite the history books by winning 2 playoff games for the first time since 1957. They've already done something most Lions fans have never personally witnessed, and so they're there as well. And so what do the Lions need to do to win? Let's start with the Lions first.
So the first thing they need to do is to make sure they continue this offense. Now, there was a stat that I heard earlier today, which was about Jared Goff playing indoors and Jared Goff playing outdoors, and his numbers significantly go down when he's playing outdoors. Mm-hmm. But they got to keep that offense rolling because defensively, they're not going to be able to stop San Francisco. You know, they just don't have it. You know, they got Hutchinson, but they don't really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback if they're not bringing Hutchinson in there. So they just got to keep scoring and hopefully outscore. I mean, of course, technically you're outscoring the team anyway, but when I say outscore, I'm talking about taking these punches and just outlast the 49ers and scoring, which they can do. They have the weapons to do it. But I really think that's the only way they can win. Force Purdy into, you know, we see that Purdy can be a little tentative sometimes. And if you can put some pressure on him like the Ravens did and get a couple interceptions, you can see how he kind of clammed up in that game against Baltimore. And that was really the first time I saw him clam up until last week against Green Bay, where he just wasn't himself. So yeah, that's
he had a glove on, then he took the glove off.
Yeah, I really think that's the only way, the only chance Detroit has is to make sure their offense is still firing on all cylinders and just put slight pressure. You don't have to dominate them because again, you can't stop him. Now again, Debo is hurt, so he's not on the injury list. But if he doesn't play or if he's not full Debo, then they have another really good chance of coming out with this win. I'm not picking them though. I'm picking the 49ers.
Okay. I'm with you in terms of what the Lions need to do. They have to pressure Purdy. They do. He gets happy feedback there. They have to get him out of the pocket. Just don't let him be comfortable on those play action passes. They really have to put some pressure on them. They have to do something against the run at least as well. Because they build the Niners, they build a lot of their stuff off of their run sets. Purdy's not going to be dropping back, throwing the ball 40 plus times in this game. They're going to do a lot of play action. They're going to try to get McCaffrey going. If Debo is at full strength, they're going to do a lot of, those runs with Debo. And so they're going to have to be able to be solid defensively. And I agree, offensively, don't get crazy with the pass. They've had a lot of success in these last two games throwing the ball, but you got Gibbs, you got Montgomery. Get some foundation on running so you can really give Goff opportunities to do play action, because they do have active defensive linemen. I mean, Bosa, he's there, Young, so they can get after the quarterback. And so they're going to really have to have a good balance. You don't want to get out of balance. If they're throwing the ball more than 40 times, that means they're behind, to me. And so I want to see them be a little bit more balanced on offense. And you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns, not field goals. You just got to get the ball in the end zone, really, because the Niners, if they get clicking, it could turn into a boat race.
It could get ugly.
It could get ugly very quickly. And so, you're going to have to score. You have to take advantage of those opportunities. Now, what about the Niners? What do you think they need to do to win?
Just make sure Purdy is comfortable. Get McCaffrey started early. Even if Debo is hurt, you get Brandon Ayuk down there. You got Kittles in there. They get their offense rolling like we're saying Detroit needs to. Then they won't have a problem, because the defense is good enough to really shut down some plays from Detroit. So I really think they just need to make sure Purdy is comfortable. And I think that was the problem last week. Purdy wasn't really comfortable. But again, they were coming off the bye week. And I think we talked about that also. How is Purdy going to come off the bye week with that, with that rest? And he didn't look as sharp.
Yeah, he has to play a little bit better. They did pull it out in the end, but he has to play a little bit better. I think, they get that offense cranking, they get the run game going. That definitely helps them a lot, because it opens up those throwing lanes to Kittle, to Debo, to Ayuk. And so that goes a long way. And so they're going to have to be able to move that ball on the ground. I think they can't give up the big chunk plays in the back, long passes and all. They're going to have a test with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They Laporta, he's a very good tight end. They have some other good receivers as well. And so I think that's where the Niners' deficiency is. And so they're going to have to really do a good job on the back end. But I'm picking the Niners as well. I'm with you. Yeah. I think the Niners at home, all things going as planned, I think the Niners probably pull this out. And so let's go to the game that only matters to us. And we had to kind of get our woosah on to start this off. Now, the Ravens are just the fourth team since 1970 merger to have a first-team All-Pro quarterback and the number one scoring defense in the NFL. The three previous teams to do so, the 72 Dolphins, the 78 Steelers, and the 96 Packers, all went on to win the Super Bowl. That's good. The Chiefs are 3-2 in AFC title games under Mahomes. But there's a key difference this season. They have one of the best defenses in the Mahomes era. They finished second in scoring defense and yards allowed. No KC team has been higher than seventh in either metric in Mahomes' tenure. And so one of the things that I think, and it's a question for you, and I think this is a good discussion point for us. Some people have been raising this concern about Mark Andrews returning to the lineup and possibly altering the chemistry between Lamar and the receivers. What's your thoughts about that?
I'm fine that you brought that up, because that was going to be my come on, yo. So we can talk about it right now.
All right.
Are you all out of your minds?
Bro.
Mark Andrews is
a type 3. He's a top 3.
It's a superstar. Are you kidding me?
He's the only receiver we've had in the last 5 seasons.
What do you mean mess up the chemistry? Mark Andrews created the chemistry with Lamar. Are you kidding me? Adding let's put it this way. The only concern I have with Mark Andrews is that he may be a little rusty in game speed. That's the only concern I have. You add Mark Andrews there with a confident Isaiah Likely? Are you kidding me?
Right.
You did you see Kincaid and what's the other guy's name on their other tight end? Dalton Kincaid and Buffalo. Did you see how well they played? Yeah. Kansas City is not defending two top-tier tight ends. Are you Mark Andrews? If nothing else, he can be a distraction on the field and open up something else. But Mark Andrews catches the balls that your favorite tight end on another team ain't catching. The chemistry between him and Lamar ain't going the way. Listen. For lack of better words, Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson have been in love for the past 2 years. Don't nobody break that love,
bro.
That is
5 years.
When
they started playing Lamar his rookie season, his main target was Mark Andrews, and has been. If Mark Andrews was already leading tight ends and touchdowns this season before he got injured. Okay, there's 3 tight ends in this league: Kelsey, Mark Andrews, and Kittle. That's it. That's it. That's it. So that's like if LeBron came back from an injury and the Lakers was on a 10-game winning streak and they're in the NBA Finals. Are you going to say, well, he might mess up the chemistry?
Are you kidding me? When I heard that, I was like, okay. There's a certain
Jackson
point.
out here saying dumb stuff.
There's a certain point where Ravens fans are just a little spoiled. Like, come on. You're literally questioning if when Mark Andrews got hurt, there were a few of us that thought the season might be over.
Right. We were like, uh-oh.
Exactly. And you're trying to tell me that you're like, oh, well, I don't know if he's going to hurt the chemistry. Yeah. Maybe he should.
Bro, we was here like, I hope Likely can step up.
Exactly. we were praying for Isaiah Likely. Are you kidding me?
I hope Likely can step up because we're going to be a little thin. I mean, did people not see the other seasons when Lamar was running around for his life and he would just throw it up in the air 30 yards down the field and Mark Andrews would catch it with one hand with 3 people on his back? Did people forget about that?
You can never have too many bullets. You can never have too many.
But more. That's right. Thank you, Cal. Yeah. So please, people, stop it. Stop it. We're getting our number 1 receiver.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we want him.
That's Lamar's day 1. Everybody talking about your day 1. That's Lamar's day 1.
Come on now.
Oh,
no, he might mess up. He ain't gonna mess up nothing.
He ain't gonna
mess up nothing. Mess up the chemistry. Get out of here. As he catching all these daggone touchdown passes, he gonna mess up the chemistry.
Exactly.
Get out of here with that.
And
crap.
Again, if nothing else, they got to account for him because they can't leave him open. So they got to account for him.
Yeah.
If nothing else, he's gonna draw some coverage, which opens other people up. Stop it. We've been waiting for this Likely Andrews combination. Right. We've been waiting for it. We've had it a few times, but Likely wasn't the Likely that he is now. We've been waiting for this.
Now, Likely he flashed last year when Andrews got hurt. Remember the Tampa game and a couple games before. So he's shown it, and we want them together on the field.
Now we got 3. Because we got the 2 stars, and Cola's been holding on to the ball. He had a couple passes last week. He's holding on to the. Are y'all kidding me?
He's our Boyle on this team. He's in the Boyle role. He's out there for. So who would you rather have catching passes, Pat Ricard or Mark Andrews?
Bruh, I was so upset when I saw that. I was like, if I was Mark Andrews, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm playing anyway.
Crazy, man. So what are your biggest concerns going into this game?
Isaiah Pacheco and Patrick Mahomes. Like I've been talking about, Patrick Mahomes is the superstar, and like you've given him the most appropriate name, the Jordan of the NFL. If he goes off, and we've seen it with Tom Brady, if he goes off, then they have the best chance to win the game. But I'm also concerned with Isaiah Pacheco. Now, he has a foot injury. Their offensive line is kind of banged up, but Isaiah Pacheco runs hard. And if they can control that ground game with Pacheco, it's going to be a little interesting out there tomorrow. To be very honest, I don't think it's enough to beat the Ravens, because as good as KC's defense is, I think we have a great offense that we can score from anywhere. I don't think they can completely shut the Ravens down. But what you want is for the Ravens to completely shut KC down, because really they have Kelsey, they have Pacheco, and they have Rashee Rice. That's three. The other players have not shown up, and you want that to continue. So if you can, that would be kind of predictable. And if you can shut them down, then you should be good. But you just that Patrick Mahomes run factor, that Patrick Mahomes on the fly making plays factor, and Isaiah Pacheco is a big part of that, and that he concerns me the most.
Right. I want to see the Chiefs in a lot of 3rd and longs. I don't want to see them in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. I want to see them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 7s. I don't want to see them in 3rd and 3s, because that means that, Pacheco, he's picking up some good yardage on those runs, and it opens up a lot of possibilities, more possibilities for Mahomes in the pass game. And so, to me, the Ravens have their biggest success when they make teams one-dimensional. When they make you one-dimensional, like just passing the ball, you're really playing into their strength. They're the number 1 pass defense in the league. You're playing into their strength. They lead the league in sacks. And so I want to see Clowney and Van Noy and Owe. I want to see them teeing off. I want to see Millette on the little, blitz from the secondary. I want to see Queen on a blitz up the middle. I want to see them make Mahomes move off his spot and try to throw on a run, scramble, put some pressure on them. They don't have to have 10 sacks this game, but I just don't want him sitting clean in the pocket all day. Right. And so do well against the run. I think the offense is going to take care of themselves. I mean, Lamar, they have to plan for that. If receivers are not open, you have to plan to cover his legs. Andrews coming back is a major plus. Zay has been playing very well. I think, running that ball, don't get away from, feeding Gus early, feeding Justice Hill early, getting that run. Hey, if Cook gets in there.
Feeding Dalvin. Yeah. Did you see Dalvin play well?
Had a couple good runs. And so I want to see them, get some good success off of, first down runs or second down runs too, where they're in shorter situations on 3rd down, where they're not, having to go 15 yards or more for first downs and things like that. And so, so I think if the defense plays well against the run, kind of hopefully makes them one-dimensional, we have a nice lead. That would be great. Of course, the Ravens never do it easy. The line is 3.5 right now. I'm not going to be bold and say, take the points, but I just think this is just, I don't know. I just have overwhelming confidence in this team.
And I'm happy you do, because the butterflies in my stomach are going. Now, I'm also going to say, I think that this is one of those games where coaching is going to really, really,
you're playing
really
the master.
Matter.
You're playing the master and Andy Reid. Yes. You're playing the master. Yes. And so look for some trick plays, look for something different, look for some new wrinkles. It's just not going to, get up and line up and all those things. It's going to be some wrinkles. I think Kelsey He had a great game last week.
He had a very good game.
That's
why I keep telling y'all, stop talking about Taylor Swift. They talked about her in Buffalo, and Kelsey went off. Stop it. He had 2 touchdowns because y'all was messing with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Stop talking about that man, woman.
Yeah. They had Taylor down in the pit and the wire. They had Taylor and Kelsey coming out of Eldorados. They had them everywhere.
Did you see it? Did you see it as a 12 o'clock boy riding the motorcycle?
I just see that.
Riding the dirt bike. Bro. Bro, they had it as a 12 o'clock boy riding the dirt.
I bet not, though. I bet not see her doing the Parkeye strut during the game. They better not get no lead, and they show her in the box doing the Parkeye strut. If I see that, I just turn it off the TV. That's just it. She was already swag surfing. She better not be up there talking about 5 a.m. I better not see her doing no Parkeye strut. Oh my God. Anyway, so y'all enjoy those games tomorrow. I think they're going to be good. And I think we're going to have some results that, especially here in Baltimore, the results that we want to see. So,
I hope so, man.
We are. And so now we're at the favorite part of the show that everyone loves. Come on, yo. And so I'll go ahead and lead off since you let off last week. Come on, yo. Subprime's children, they brought him a house in Colorado, Calvin. Did you see this?
I didn't. If you don't leave that man alone.
Subprime, Deion Sanders, Subprime Sanders, as I call him. His children, Shiloh and Shador, they're making enough money from NIL that they brought dad a house in Colorado. And so it's believed that next year is going to be their last college season. 2024 will be their last college season, and then they'll go ahead and test the draft the following season. And so they brought dad a house. They said, Dad, you deserve this. You don't have to worry about us. You gave us the foundation, and here's your house for you. Like that means Deion is going to stay in Bolton. First of all, I don't know what to say about the Sanders family, man. I know it's all about the cameras. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the reels and the views. But if y'all think Deion Sanders, his children buying him a house, first of all, I don't care how much money you getting out of NIL. Deion's a millionaire. You ain't buying Deion no daggone house. And trust me, if Subprime gets a SEC or an ACC job offer, if they win more than 4 games next year, say he gets them to a bowl, say they win 7 games, 8 games, and he gets them to a bowl, and a SEC job is open or ACC job is open, and they offer it to Deion by Boulder, Deion ain't staying there. So come on, yo. Deion's going to be here, and we brought daddy. Deion ain't saying. Deion need to win some games, first of all. But if they improve next year, which I hope they do, and one of those big conferences comes calling, especially SEC, bye Boulder. Y'all gonna see Gilly and all them dancing on the sideline or whatever school he go to next. They ain't gonna be in Boulder. Ain't gonna be no more sunglasses out in Boulder and Michael Irvin and everybody out there chilling on the sideline. They're gonna go with Deion the next stop that he goes to. And so come on, yo, with this stunt of buying daddy a house with NIL money, thinking he gonna stay in Boulder long term.
Bro, I don't know what you got against Deion now.
I don't have nothing against
now you're attacking the family, and they done bought their daddy a house.
They selling this whole thing like Deion gonna be there long term. Deion is not gonna be there. I really,
they gonna put up a Deion Sanders statue at Colorado.
If they win 8-9 games and there's an NFL job open that some coach wants the publicity, I'm telling you, Deion going to jump. Deion is not going to be there another 2 years. Mark it down. I'm going to save this clip. Just like you Mr. Clip Master, how you like to go back and get clips and all that stuff and be clipping it up. I'm going to clip this up. I give it another 2 years.
If you don't leave Deion and his family alone, we damn near a month removed from college football.
I had to find something. I was going to talk about Deshaun Jackson, but then I was on Twitter today, and I saw this thing with Shiloh and Shador telling Daddy they got him a house and showing him the house and thinking that means that Deion's going to be there forever. Get out of here with that crap.
Hey man, so since Garland made me get out my come on yo earlier with the Mark Andrews thing because it was good because y'all pissed me off with that whole Mark Andrews messing up the chemistry. I got another one. I had another one in the chamber, and it's really another spirited. It's not really a spirited debate. It's the other spirit, which is come on Baltimore, y'all asses are showing off now. And I absolutely love it. Baltimore wins this game, then we have to go to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, Baltimore has decided we are going to capitalize on all of this fortune that we have with the Ravens. They're putting out the videos. You see the man got the. Of course, I'm a Ravens
Nick
flock.
Nick
in it.
Let me tell you something real quick.
Shalonda's in it. What?
Why somebody told me though that the mayor is a Commanders fan? I'm serious.
You know what? Let me continue my come on, yo. Come
All
on,
right,
Baltimore. Come on. I mean, which I can believe because the mayor graduated from Mervo, but he always City forever. You always hear him hollering City forever.
Yeah. He's Baltimore down too. So
yeah, he just Baltimore. Yeah.
He's Baltimore
I saw. But yeah, we got the videos. You see the dancers getting out there, getting their fame. Everywhere you ride this week, somebody is on the corner selling their Ravens wear.
Not licensed.
Small, it's not licensed, but listen, the small businesses are getting it in there. Come on, Baltimore. I love it. We are at a point, the Orioles did well. The Ravens are doing well. I mean, we're at a point now where we have to start taking advantage of these things. We have to start we've always talked about bringing better light to the city. And these are the kind of things that we can do. Of course, you just hope that Kansas City fans come here, that there's nothing that happens. You know, you don't want anything to happen, but we haven't heard anything. And it seems like Baltimore is just fully embracing this fame that we're getting right now. And it's not like the Ravens are a bad organization, but we haven't been to the Super Bowl since 2012. So we're trying to take advantage of this. And this feeling with this young black quarterback is a little different than any of the other two runs that we've had. You know, I can't quite put my finger on it, but maybe it does have to do with being young and black in a black city, with people supporting you, with people hating against them, people outside of the city hating. And some of y'all inside this city hate them too. Come on now. Well, come on, Baltimore. Come on, yo. Let's keep riding this wave. And if we do make it to the Super Bowl and come back a winner, let's continue to ride this with the Orioles and all the way through. As I mentioned earlier, I believe the Baltimore Ravens are on the precipice of something great. I also believe our Baltimore Orioles are on the precipice of something great. Baltimore, we up, y'all. We back. Come on, Baltimore. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it, Baltimore. Love it, man.
I'm with you. And, you know, as a matter of fact, there is a lot of pride. We opened the show, like I said, my church telling people wear jerseys tomorrow. Where you get it's like all over the place of people. And I saw something. I think it was Cam Newton. He was talking about someone asked him who's more important. Who does Baltimore love more, Lamar or Ray Lewis? Who means the most to Baltimore? And he said Lamar. And right now, I would kind of go with that.
It's so tough because now that Ray is no longer a player,
right?
It's hard to remember the impact that Ray Lewis had.
It's been a while.
It's really difficult to remember.
It's been a while.
And remember that was Ray's last ride. Now we
was not the Ray Lewis that we remember in his prime. This was Ray Lewis on the way out. So
it's really hard, but it's something about being the face of the team from an offensive standpoint, having the impact to score the points, being the main cog in a team, blowing out other teams, scoring 30 plus points. It's something about that impact as opposed to someone that's just punishing other teams, that's standing their ground. So you look at Roquan and you look at Lamar, and they both have the same impact on opposite sides of the field. But if you want to compare the two, who has the more impact on the city, it's absolutely Lamar. Yeah. And Roquan, they put up his numbers in his first few years compared to Ray Lewis, and they're not off. They're not very far off. So, yeah, man. But Ray had that energy also. I don't.
And I think we've always wanted an offense. I think that's also too. We've always wanted we've been clamoring for an offense forever because we were winning games 9-3. That was a blowout for us. If the Ravens came out and they kicked the field goal first on the Ray Lewis years, I was like, oh, it's over. We got it. I'll take a 6-3.
The Matt Stover days.
Oh, come on.
The Matt Stover days.
If they went up 3-0, 6. Oh, if they got a touchdown, it definitely was done. But if they kicked like 2 field goals and we was up 6-0,
that was over. It was over because he wasn't scoring on the defense.
He wasn't scoring on the defense. But we've always clamored for a offense, and we finally got somebody that gives that explosion. I think the city has always wanted.
And I will say this now, and maybe I'm just because it's been so long, maybe I don't remember, but I do not believe as many kids were wearing Ray Lewis jerseys as they are wearing Lamar Jackson jerseys right now. Right. And then another thing, Ray was only loved in the city. If you ever go outside of the city to any away games, they couldn't stand Ray Lewis. No one.
I wore a Ray Lewis jersey to a Cleveland Browns game in Cleveland. I'm
surprised
they cursed me. Yeah, they cursed me out so bad that whole afternoon. It was crazy. But yeah, Lamar, and we're in the age of Twitter, Reels, all those things.
That's another thing.
And we have a constant viewing of Lamar and his exploits as opposed to, when Ray and them, there was kind of like, it was just really Facebook, and we had Twitter, but it was not as explosive as it is now. We got TikTok, we got all of these other different types of social media.
And another thing, Ray is that vocal leader. Lamar is just that humble. I'll show you on the field. Yeah. You don't hear. If you ever see Lamar going off, then oh, he in this. He into this. So.
I think people got tired of Ray preaching at the end. At the end, people got kind of like,
how we feel about Ray Lewis, like, bro, on the field, but when you start to tell us how we need to. Okay, so anyway, real quick, I want to thank everybody because we are live on Facebook. We're on the All Things Black page. So let me just go through some names real quick. Thank John, thank Michelle, Charles, Shanisha, Michelle Price, Tyra, all of y'all joining. Oh, Muhammad, your girl,
Shakira.
Dwan.
What's that, Dwan?
Yeah, they all joined us in here. And John Kearney asked if we're gonna if Ray gonna do the dance tomorrow before the game. Let me tell you something. Ray is doing the dance right now.
The legend. Him and Ed Reed are the legends of the game.
They got
they bringing back everybody.
They got Michael Phelps coming out. Man.
I was thinking about this. If the Ravens have the lead, like maybe with 2 minutes left, and we're blowing them out, they should have Flacco and Trent Dilfer there, and they should show them like holding up the foot. That would drive everybody crazy. Oh my God, people would lose their mind.
First of all, Trent Dilfer don't want nothing to do with Baltimore anymore. The way that they unceremoniously shot him, but he did come back to the little reunion.
Yeah, and he got his ring, and but Ray,
and I don't know how I feel about Joe right now.
I want you to record it with your phone tomorrow when Ray Lewis come out, because it's gonna be bananas. Record it with your phone tomorrow.
Let me tell you something. Last week was bananas, so I can imagine what this week is going to be.
He come out that tunnel. Bananas. Oh my God, it's going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy.
Hot in, right here.
Oh my God. They should put him in uniform. Let him come out in full uniform. Oh
No,
my
let's
God.
not. Let's not do that. My God.
Right.
Let's not do that. Hey, we want to thank you all for joining us. We are
Definitely,
live
everybody.
on YouTube and live on Facebook. And if you don't see us live, you can definitely hear us on all the podcast platforms because
Thank
this
you.
is a podcast.
We're going to
We
win tomorrow,
broadcast
y'all.
it, But this is a podcast.
We're
And
gonna
if you
win.
do listen to us on Spotify, you'll be able to actually see us again. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can go ahead and check out the Ravens gear that we've been rocking because, you know, Garland says we're going to win. I believe we're going to win, but I'm still nervous, you know. So we definitely want to thank you all for joining us. Make sure you join us next week. And
We're
you know
winning.
what? Let me just go ahead and play this outro because I'm ready for Sunday to hit right now, man. I don't know about you guys.
It's hot and
Sunday.
It's hot in here.
Hey man, I can't even find the outro. I'm trying to find the outro. Here we go.
I went, hey, you knuckleheads.
Hey, you knuckleheads.
Walking down the avenue.
Walking down the avenue.
Up through more streets.
You have been listening to
North
Fanboys,
MP
all
with
things black,
white,
Garland
block.
and Calvin production.
I don't even listen. I don't even know the whole song, but I know
Thank
enough
you for
of it.
listening.
I'm trying to play this.
And make sure to
Here's
rate and
the
review
outro.
this episode.
That's
on all
all
of
right.
the podcast.
That's all right. We winning tomorrow. And my man Stabby too.
Hey, thank you all for joining us. I'll let you later, Garland.
Peace.